And I do know that I've gone, when I went down south most recently, there were whole tracts of trees, because one of the things they put in were almond orchards and citrus orchards and things like that on the west side that were dead. And I think it's because they had no water. So people's livelihoods are being greatly affected by the fact that we're not sending water down in the north part of the state where we need it. Instead, it's going to Los Angeles. Where they need it, but they don't deserve it, no. That's an antitrust thing, I guess I should say. It's a problem. Water's always going to be a problem, and managing water is always going to be a problem. Has anybody read The Cadillac Desert? A very interesting book. You might write it down, or I put it on the note here. The Cadillac Desert is the story of the Owens Valley, and the Los Angeles Water District came in and bought up the little farms or the water rights from the farmers in the Owens Valley, and it was a very prosperous trucking farm valley, and now it's a desert because they took the water. And I don't want our valley to become a desert. Farmers now are selling their water rights. They have riparian rights. They have rights to so much water, and they're saying, fine, I won't farm this year. I'm going to sell it to West Covina. And their share goes down and goes in, and they sell it downstream. And I was vocal about that until a flood gentleman that we had here said, we don't want to talk about that because we don't want to do anything that is going to jeopardize the idea of riparian rights, because Sacramento has riparian rights, which means the right to take water out of the rivers. That's what riparian rights are. And we don't want to talk about it because we don't want anybody to say, well, you don't have the right to the water that's going past your borders. So now I've stopped talking about that, more or less. Water meters are coming in, and although as a native Sacramentan who always figured that if I lived between two rivers I had the right to have as much water as I wanted, I can't be against water meters because I think that's probably what's going to regulate the water usage, the too much water usage. It's not going to be done by low flow toilets and low flow shower heads. Done at point of sale, which please we don't want that, at 2% a year, so let's see, it'll be done in 100 years maybe. But water meters will probably take care of that. I had a client who came from Florida, and one of the things that came out on the prelim was the fact that the water had to be paid, and it was $147, and he said, well, that's not too bad. And I said, yeah, that's for half a year. And he said, that's what I pay a month in Florida. So we've had it pretty good for a long time. I mean, I think, what do I pay, $105, or maybe it's gone up. Every year it goes up, but it's water, sewer, and garbage, and the water isn't metered. I'm going to have to change my wasteful ways when the meter comes in, but I have a huge yard, and that's always the biggest problem. That's where most of the water goes. And one of the things that they're fighting politically here, everybody comes up with ways to save water, and the latest one, which is just my favorite, is the landscaping companies who say, we have this new system, and you put this special system in on your sprinkling system, and it'll say when you need water, and when you don't need it, it won't turn it in. And we think every house that sells should have one. Another point of sale. Don't you want to sell that to your seller? Gee, I'm sorry, you've got to put in this $1,000. He said, I'll take my sprinkler system out. Water by hose. I mean, I don't think it'll fly because it's outrageous, but it's something. So that's what I know about water, mostly. Do you have any questions?